All right, you're welcome back. Nigeria's refineries will work at optimal capacity soon. Now, that's a promise from the federal government as it has started making moves to award contracts to a consortium of trading firms and technical partners for the rehabilitation and upgrade of the nation's moribund refineries.
Yeah, though Nigeria is an oil-producing nation and has refineries in Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna, the country refines its crude on foreign soil and spends millions of naira to import the refined product back home. Will Nigeria end fuel import soon? Is a question Nigerians are asking because government has set so many committees in the past to look at revamping the refineries. But we'll take a look at this on the program. We have energy editor of Business Day newspaper, Olushola Bello, with us in the studio. Good morning, Olushola. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Good morning. Good morning, yes.
All right. Now, I know you've been following these developments. This is not the first time. This is not the second. This is not the third, fourth, or even fifth time that the government is setting either a committee or a panel to look into the refineries and bring them to work at optimal level. What will be different when from what you have seen in the past and now? What strategies are you seeing differently that might make this one work?
If I'm to be candid with you, I think those are just political statements.
Why do you think so?
Political statement because, you know, you did mention that this is not the first time, this is not the second time. And several committees have been set up. I remember in 1999 or so thereabout, there was a time they gave it to one company called Chrome to do some maintenance job. What we don't know is that whether that company did complete the job or not up to today. Several other companies have been given that same contract after that, and we have not seen any improvement. The refinery is there in that state because for political reasons, I will say again, people are benefiting from it. And people are benefiting from it because a lot of things that needed to be done or that needed to be purchased or whatever, you know, are given to cronies. And for God's sake, this is Nigeria. We know the kind of people we are. We know how our people behave. People in those refineries have nothing to do. They are not capable, they are not competent, a lot of them.
With all the engineers we have, petrochemical engineers and economists and all this and all that we have there?
If you are to aggregate the engineers you have there, they are probably 10% of the total population you have in all this. And they are not even given the enabling environment to operate. Because
so
you see the political heads,
yes.
You see the political heads residing in Abuja at the corporate headquarters, deciding what should be done and what should not be done. Don't forget that even the refineries are at a stage, they cannot approve, they cannot do anything. NNPC could not have spent anything, maybe about 50,000 or 50,000, I mean, 50 billion naira, something without going to Federal Executive Council. And going to Federal Executive Council, you know what it means. You know how long the process will take. And those things have contributed to all the problems we have today.
So what else are the other factors? I mean, you seem to believe that expertise, lack of it, is a major problem. I recall in 2015 when Ibe Kachuku was made, was it in 2015 that he became, you know, the... yeah, it was 2015. Yeah. He actually said that, look, there is no doubt that the expertise is there to fix these refineries. He actually praised the brilliance of the Nigerians, you know, working in the refineries and all of that, and promised that the funds that will be saved from scrapping oil subsidy would actually be used to turn around the refineries and to fix the refineries to work, to work optimally. Unfortunately, here we are. That has not happened. And then place that side by side with this deal that the federal government has just gone into with BP, Shell, and of course ExxonMobil to have this oil for products deal.
That is oil for product deal, and it's not.
That's an oil for product deal.
Yes, it's not on the technical side of the refinery. So
if government is going into that deal on the one hand, and it's saying that by 2019 the refineries will work, how do you even...
You see, the deal they are going into is that, please, because you have the technical competence,
yes,
bring in the product. I will give you the crude oil. So you bring the product that is will be equivalent to the crude oil you are going to. So it's like you are swapping the product. So, and that has nothing to do with the revamping of the refinery.
Okay.
It has nothing
because
to do
some
with
have raised the question as to the sincerity of government when it says the refineries will actually work. But let me ask you the question that what I'm really most concerned about is, should we just, you know, scrap these refineries and build new ones from the scratch, which people are saying is even cheaper and is more technologically driven now? Somebody raised an example of a refinery somewhere in Holland, you know, where only 3 people actually man the refinery because it's mostly technology driven.
You see, there are 2 options or 3 options for us. Is either we scrap it or we allow the people that are supposed to manage it to manage it. If there is technical revamp in those refineries, they will work if they are allowed to work. And the third option is that allow it, let's follow the model of LNG, where private sector have more equity than the government. You see what is happening in Element Petrochemical. Element Petrochemical was redundant, was almost abandoned. But by the time Indorama got hold of the factory, of the plant, they turned it around and they are paying dividend today. LNG is paying dividend today. The refineries we have, you know, I mean, it is not that they cannot work. It is just that the government knows what to do, but they will not do it.
The political will is not there.
They are not, I mean, the refineries have close to 2,000 or more employees. Let's say, let me just be economical about it. Out of those 2,000, I'm sure 200 of them cannot be more than engineers and technicians that are well trained and who knows what they do, what to do. But a lot of them, you see, you have somebody who probably read history or business administration, who probably sits one day as an executive director of management services or so, and who called the shot. It is whatever he says that the engineers will follow. So, and if he has not given his final say, there's no way anybody can do anything. Kachuku coming from outside, you know, have good words, you know, study and he had good intention. But we all know what happened, and we all know the politics involved. Now he's the Minister of State. He doesn't call the shot in NNPC, and whatever his suggestion he gives, of course.
So are we technically saying that the Minister of Petroleum, who should know whatever is going there, could be part of why the place is not working? Because we understand that if you are the Minister of Petroleum, that's what I'm saying. Of course, we know who the Minister of Petroleum is. You certainly are working with whoever the Minister, the Minister of State, the GMD, all of these people certainly know everything about the workings in the refinery. Of course, they know So when you say some people somewhere either may be benefiting from the status quo and ensuring it doesn't work, are you saying these people could be? You see,
as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to exonerate either the past or the present government, the past management or the present management, because the GMD of NNPC has been in the system for only God knows. So he understands the system. We are talking of business concern, not a social entity that we use for charity.
Yeah, but the question is it even being run as a business concern?
It is not being run.
That should be profitable.
It is not being run as a business concern. And that is why those who are advocating that it should be sold off, you know, felt it is when a private entity comes in, that is when they can decide to do. Refineries can never get old. All you need to do is to upgrade.
Okay.
You upgrade them. We are aware of some refineries that have spent over 100 years. It's not because the same component that was used in the initial state. We are seeing those components that were there. Okay. They upgrade them, they refurbish them, and they adapt technology. In your own case, the technology of 1978, 1988 is what you are still using.
It's what's still there.
And the industry has gone far beyond that.
And Ibe Kachiku has said that we need about $300 to $500 million to fix.
That can build
to revamp,
fresh refineries.
To revamp the refineries, to make them functioning again. And just like you said, I mean, is that not enough to actually build new refineries?
Well, it depends on the capacity.
Yeah, they talk about modular refineries. Certainly, a modular refinery will not be up to that.
You see, modular refineries are the most uneconomical aspect of the industry. Because in modular refineries, you can only produce one product.
Okay.
Just one product. We have the Niger Delta Petroleum Company that is producing maybe about 1,000 liters or 1,000 barrels of AGO. That is just AGO. However, you can upgrade it. Anyone above 10,000 liters per day has ceased to be modular.
Okay.
Okay. So it has to be 10,000 and below.
And below. So, but again, how many of such modular refineries do you want to have? They have, as at the time I look at the DPR listing, there are about almost 60-something refineries. But how many of them have even gone through the what they call license to establish, the first stage? Okay. I mean, maybe Dangote refinery, and I was told that one somewhere.
There's one in Anambra State, Orient.
Orient. Nobody hears anything much about Orient. Orient. Nobody. No, okay. I don't think it's functioning any longer, or anything. They have advanced further than the.
But you know, like they say, I mean, little drops of water fill the ocean. If you had modular refineries every how many kilometers
here and there,
wouldn't that really solve the problem in a more sustainable way?
You have more than 40 of them that have applied.
Yes.
Don't forget that one company during Abacha's era, as long as Abacha's era, you know, apply for refinery license, up to today, nothing has happened. And what is the problem? It's finance. A lot of the banks are not ready to commit to put their money there. So when you see DPR will say, okay, this one has been given LTE, license to establish, but they observe that they are still looking for money.
Money is to establish.
So, I mean, money to carry out whatever they do. So, and if you don't...
shouldn't, I mean, a licensing authority like DPR, the Department for Petroleum Resources, you would expect would have done the needful due diligence, check out their capacity, you know, the dollar capacity or naira capacity, as it were.
Or the yuan capacity.
Yeah, whatever capacity, to actually, you know, so that as soon as the license is given out, you know, they hit the ground running.
Well, I think they are more concerned about the technical competence of the promoters. So, and they feel, and the promoters also will tell you, by the time we get the LTE, we'll probably look for a foreign partner. And those foreign partners may not be forthcoming.
What difference would it make? There was a move sometime a few years ago to bring in the original builders of this refinery. Remember JGC Corporation of Japan, the Italian Snamproghetti that did the Warri refinery, and Chayoda Japan that did the Kaduna refinery.
Those technologies are off the stock. They are no longer in existence. So it's like you are starting all over again.
But those companies, have they gone under? If they are still there, but
they would have technology,
exactly, they would have upgraded.
You see, it is likely to, it was going to cost more, because what is going to happen is that you now have to give them the sample. That happened in Egbe power plant. When they were talking of there was a blown out in one of the units, and they now had to take some of the parts to Marubeni of Japan that constructed that thing. And they told them that, look, except we have to settle down and rework some of those parts. You can't get those things. They are no longer on the shelf. So, and of course, if you are not asking them to go back, of course, it's not good. It's going to cost you more money anyway. And the bill they are going to give you, I'm not sure you will be able to do it. Okay. So it's not as if they cannot refurbish, they cannot upgrade, or they cannot. But is the government even having the money? Do they have the money to put down?
Is it a lack of funds?
Is it a lack of funds, really?
Well, maybe lack of will.
Or the understanding that, look, these are the many problems that this would solve if our refineries worked. One of the guests we had earlier actually talked about how, you know, imagine if the refineries were working and the kind of positive impact it will actually have on the economy. It goes without saying.
Tremendous.
But in the meantime, all the 4 refineries, these refineries that have not worked anywhere near 40% over time.
I think the highest was about 39 or 36.
Yeah. Now, we're expecting the Dangote refinery to kick off somewhere around in 2020 or thereabouts, 650,000, which is already more than all the refineries.
Exactly. Because it was 445,000.
Let me tell you what is going to happen. By the time Dangote comes up, we will now have the NITEL situation and the GSM issue. Because gradually, they will be consigned to the dustbin of history. I mean, Dangote will have taken over the market. And if the government, if they are fast enough and they are able to maybe in phases, you know, say, okay, let us find a way of rehabilitating this in phases. They may be able to get some markets before, by the time Dangote comes out. Of course, Dangote takes care of Southwest, takes care of Lagos, and takes care of offshore. Kaduna Refinery can take care of the northern area, which is still a very huge market for it. While Warri can take care of South-South. Port Harcourt can also take care of South-South and offshore and Southeast. But if, because of our own lackadaisical attitude as a government, we don't run fast, by the time Dangote gets on stream, of course, I don't know what I don't know.
All right. There was a time, there was a move to concession or to even sell off the refineries at the time, and unions within they vehemently said no, and even indigents of the Niger Delta said no, this is our heritage, it cannot be sold, and all of that. So government on its own, does it seem like government's hands are even tied sometimes? But
that was where we made a mistake.
Okay.
The reversal of the sales of those refineries was a monumental mistake by our government. Because if they have sold them now, by now, I think we will have
started seeing some gains. Meanwhile, I don't know if this is political. Atiku says he will actually sell off 90% of the NNPC, just to put that on record. Is that something the way we should go?
You see, NNPC, well, is either they sell it or they just, make it more commercially viable.
Commercialize or concession parts of it?
As it is now, it is carrying so many weights, and it's a quiddy path for any government. It's the cash cow.
Cash cow.
So everybody, they bounce on this to make whatever money they wanted.
All right.
All right. Olushola Bello, Mr. Olushola Bello is the energy editor of Business Day. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Of course, the debate continues.
Right.